I freaking love PC, and ever since I joined PC, things got really interesting. So much so that I spent quite a lot of money on PCs, and I had no idea whatsoever what I was getting into. Now finally, after upgrading to the latest components, I feel kinda satisfied with the PC build that I have. As a matter of fact, in my previous video, I did the refresh or rebuild, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I have my thoughts and opinions about the whole PC as a topic, and I would like to talk about them. But first, before we sit down and talk about it, let's just make a cup of tea, shall we? Hello everyone and welcome. This is Wasabi for Breakfast. I'm Wasabi and this is where curiosity leads the conversation. So, PC gaming, building PC, me joining PC master race. Finally, took a while, but I'm finally here. We have finally made it, right? So, PC, the idea of joining PC probably started taking place back in 2019, right? Whenever me and two of my former co-workers, we would exchange opinions about video games, conversation unfortunately will always end up with them making fun of me because they were labeling me the console peasant and they were the superior ones, right? But it was all fun and games, right? I was just part of the gig and I would ultimately end up laughing about it. Probably few weeks, every once in a while, I would look into PC parts, but I would feel a sense of overwhelmed. Ultimately, I would close the tab and stop looking into it. 2020 came around, COVID happened, and I decided to go back to give it another shot. And I was totally wrong because if I thought the prices were higher before, during COVID, probably worst time to do so. Prices were insane, obviously, because there was the booming of mining Bitcoin, factories being shut down, and the few stock about hardware left, they were all gone because everyone started buying it, and being at home, you need something to do, obviously. So I was like, you know what, let me stick to gaming on console, and I just got back into gaming after a hiatus of not gaming. But that's a topic for another video. So anyway, I ultimately, after 5 years, that's how it took, I finally made it. I started looking for parts again, right? And I still wasn't sure about having to buy all parts and put it together by myself or just play the safe route and go with the pre-build. I went with the safe route. And I had no idea what I was getting into, and ultimately I realized that I've bought the lowest of the lowest tier of pre-build. And I think I paid roughly around 700 euros, and it was a PC that it had like a 3050 with the 6 gigabytes of VRAM, and it was an AM4 platform. Yes, it had like an MSI B520. I can't remember exactly the CPU, but it had like one single stick of DDR4 RAM, 16 gigabyte. Also, I wanted to get into making videos, editing videos, and I wanted to get into editing photography and also start streaming. Why not? But most importantly, I wanted like to have everything within a device, within a machine where I can do everything. Compared to what I had before, it was just like night and day, totally. In the previous, I had what I call an office PC. It was like, it was just like a normal PC. It didn't have like a dedicated GPU. It had like a CPU that had like I can't remember exactly the term, but it was like one of those processors that had like graphics built in, or I can't remember exactly the term for that. It started feeling like a positive experience, right? But then as I started looking for how to improve the performance of PC, I started feeling the urge to upgrade it in a way. So ultimately I ended up buying a brand new kit with 2 sticks and 32 gigabytes of RAM, DDR4, 3600 mega transfers per second. And I started playing with BIOS, enabling the EXPO profile, and I started noticing that my PC was slightly getting faster. Unfortunately, I started falling for the FOMO, and the urge to upgrade my PC started kicking in, and I wanted to finally putting it together by myself. So as I started looking for parts, I started learning the names of brands. I started also I started saving money in order to upgrade my PC. And at the time I thought, you know what, I wanted 4070 Super as a new GPU, and I started looking for prices of that GPU, and it was still affordable, roughly around August to September of 2024. But I had no idea that we were transitioning from the 40 series to the 50 series for Nvidia, and from the 70 series to the 90 series for AMD. So I decided to save everything for the holidays period. And that one was probably the worst decision that I took. And holidays period came around, and 4070s and 4070 Super were no longer affordable, and the Gigabyte model that I wanted to buy was not available, or if it was available, prices were insane for what it worth. So ultimately I ended up with the RX 7700 XT with 12 gigabytes of VRAM, and I managed to find it with a good deal, paying it below 400 euros. And as a CPU, I upgraded to the Ryzen 7 5700X, air-cooled with the AMD Prism air cooler. And also I have upgraded the motherboard with the Asus B550. And also I managed to find randomly the red Zaku case GT301, which is a collab between Asus and the anime Gundam series. So fast forward a few weeks later, I didn't manage to build it during holidays, which what I previously had the intent to do. I managed to complete everything after the holidays. I started also noticing that so the PC that I built, ultimately it was pretty good, and I started noticing that the performance were higher. I was happy, but unfortunately the sense of FOMO, the urge to keep building one, because I started feeling that this is an interesting hobby. It is what I call Lego for adults, an expensive version of Lego, although Lego has become expensive as well. I think roughly around February forward, I started buying parts for AM5 build, right? Because I wanted to upgrade my PC as well, although it was relatively brand new. I wanted to upgrade, and I started falling for the FOMO. As I said, I wanted to do the upgrade, but I wanted to do it by the end of the year. So throughout the year I've bought parts, and I managed to buy two kits of RAM because the idea of having two PC setups started flooding into my head, and then I was constantly bombarded with PC build videos, people building the coolest version of PCs, and again I fell for it, and I'm here before the camera to say that yeah, it was a big mistake. I have ultimately upgraded to the AM5 platform. As a matter of fact, you guys can find the video on my channel. So throughout the 2025 year, I've bought the RAMs, I've bought the 9800X3D CPU, I've bought the GPU, which is the 97XT, and I also bought the X87E motherboard, Gigabyte, everything Gigabyte. Also, I have bought the AIO, the 850 watts power supply, and ultimately the SSD, 4 terabyte Samsung 990 EVO, and the red coated cables. I have spent quite a lot of money, I have to be honest, but unfortunately I noticed that there are both positive and negative aspects when it comes to PC. So let's just start from the positive ones. So it has been an interesting experience, starting from the pre-build all the way to managing to build my own PC. One of the first positive aspects of joining PC is the fact that you don't have to pay for online gaming, which is something that I totally removed because back when I was a console gamer, I haven't played online in a very long time. So whenever I joined PC, I forgot about that until I think a month ago when I was playing golf with your friends. Although I don't have friends, I saw there was this play online, right? And I clicked on it and I played online and nothing popped up saying, oh, you have to pay a subscription in order to play online with other people. And I was like, you know what? This is great. And I didn't play online in a very long time and I totally forgot about that. Another positive aspect is the fact that I can adjust the settings of the games relatively to what my PC build is. Let's just say I have a previous generation hardware, I can adjust that so I can compromise certain aspects in order to gain frames per second, and I can play 60 frames per second at least or even higher. Furthermore, another aspect that I really enjoyed is the sense of community and camaraderie. As a matter of fact, ever since I joined PC, I've managed to share thoughts and opinions about my builds and the hardware that I wanted to buy, and people would give me their thoughts and opinions because maybe they have a better knowledge compared to me, and they would give me tips and advices in what I should buy and what I should stay away from. That was probably the biggest aspect that I noticed, and I think that goes hand in hand with the developing knowledge of PC parts. I think nowadays consoles have become relatively mediocre in terms of performance. So joining PC and learning how to put it together and knowing what you're doing, I think that is another positive aspect. But now let's just flip to the negative ones. If you thought that price of entry was challenging before, now with the whole AI thing and the Ramageddon, as people call it on the internet, prices have become insane. If you thought it was before it was insane, now it's just like light years ahead in terms of insanity. My build costed roughly around 1,800 euros. Now, same build, and if I wanted to buy the same parts, it would cost probably 4,000 to 5,000 euros. And it's just insane. The fact that you have to pay this amount of money for a PC, it's just nonsense. As a matter of fact, even way before, when I had like my pre-build and I was just watching people talking about and addressing aspects of PC building, they were already saying that the PC parts were already insane in terms of prices. And now if you're looking to get into it, I think you should it's either probably late and the future of PC building is doomed, or you have to go buy secondhand parts, like used ones, or you might manage to find open box parts that people wanted to buy and ultimately they switch to other parts for their builds, and you might manage to find some good deals. But unfortunately, with this whole AI data centers and the RAMs and SSDs prices skyrocketed. This is also made on purpose because I feel like they want to move us from having hardware to relying on them for cloud services. And obviously they come with the restrictions in terms of hours and what we can access and what they want us to access to. Having hardware at home, building your own PC gives you just a sense of freedom, although sometimes it comes with certain restrictions. But let's just say if you want to play PS3 games or Xbox 360 games or Nintendo games, you can just download emulators and you can just do it on PC. PC gives you a limitless possibility to play whatever you want, right? And that's That's another positive aspect. Another negative aspect when it comes to PC, there are so many names for hardware, especially processors, like the CPUs for both Intel and AMD. They come with their names, right? They have numbers and letters, and for those that just come into it, it's really overwhelming and it's a challenge, because you might end up with buying, let's just say, an AM4 CPU and you buy AM5 motherboard, or for Intel you buy like an old version of CPU and you buy the Z790 CPU, and the socket doesn't match the CPU and you have to send it back. That aspect is quite challenging, and I think it's a negative one. I wish like both Intel and AMD were organized when it comes to having their name and models properly set up. To sum things up, I have to say that the positive aspects were outweighing the negative ones, but unfortunately, as per 2026, the negative aspects outweigh the positive ones. But overall, I think joining PC, probably one of the best decisions of my life. I feel very happy, although it's been a long time coming. It's been a long journey. I have spent quite a lot of money, and I also have yet to spend even some more money, because small preview, I am getting closer and closer to a 2-PC setup. I still have some few parts left to buy for my second PC. Yeah, I think PC is challenging, but once you start learning how to put it together and how to run it and to do some troubleshooting and to play around with settings, it's really good, and you get the sense of fulfillment of overcoming certain challenges when it comes to building a PC. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed today's video. If not, thank you for watching. More content will be on the way, even streaming. Unfortunately, I don't have like a regular schedule, because I work, and when I work on 3 different shifts, and I might have to move streaming to the weekend. Yeah, again, I'll see you in the next one. This was Wasabi for Breakfast, episode 1, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.